Hi, Kevin Blanche. Today I'm going to talk about China. And this whole path that we've walked out, all of a sudden, America has woke up. Oh God, China freaking overcoming us. Where have you been since 1994? Where have you been? Everybody's been in denial. This has been going on. Yeah, you could say, yeah, it started when Nixon, in what was that, 71, went to China and the famous broke the barrier, the first trip by anybody there, Americans, I mean, up until then, I mean, we fought the Cold War for years and years and years and years. They're communist. They are communists. My father died in the name of the Cold War. He was nuked in the Nevada test site. I mean, hundreds of thousands of Americans died in the name of the Cold War fighting so-called communism. They're communism. Harry Reid comes out the other day, everybody wants to freak out, calls this guy a dictator. Yeah, hello, that's like saying the sun comes up. He's a dictator. Please, where has everybody been on this China issue? All of a sudden now that everything is eroded and smashed down, now you want to get venomous about it? Where were you been since 1994? Okay, you had Nixon, went there. We didn't have any trade going on with China. None. Zero. Okay, here comes along Carter. None. Here comes along Reagan. He started to open up a little bit, but not much. Not much. It was still, you know, Tiananmen Square happened. We were outraged. You know, we thought, well, maybe they'll fall like the communist regime did. They're rising up. They smashed that down. Okay? So here comes along H. Bush. Opened it up a little more, but still. It wasn't happening. Well, when we started to indoctrinate all these buzzwords in the Republican Party, San Francisco was a bad word. Gays was a bad word. Homosexuality was a bad word. Gun rights was a bad word. You know, all these things. Well, protectionism was their buzzword. People, you know, oh God, they're protections. They didn't know what the word meant, but it was one of their buzzwords. So boom, they were indoctrinated like religion. So, you know, the Republican Party evolved like this, and they turned into their people do not tell the party leaders what to do, which politics should be, and has always been in a democracy. No, the top of the leaders tell their people, more in a religious format. So protection becomes one of the anti-buzzwords. Well, okay, 94, the Republicans sweep the House and the Senate. Carter jumps to Clinton jumps to the center. Leaps right over the center, very similar to what Barack Obama's done. Very, I mean, it's the exact same playbook. Okay, he jumps to the center and plays ball. Okay, the #1 Democratic issue, clear from the 1930s, which Mariner Eccles right in this town. You know, my PhD, been working, it's all rooted around him and the WPA and the FDR and the New Deal. It's all in my book, whatever. But anyway, he jumps to the center. The Democratic Party's #1 issue, number one, nothing else even close, was so-called protectionism. Unions. It's not a coincidence everybody broke jeans. It's not a coincidence everybody had American. There was cheap labor all over the world then. And you think, oh, we flattened the world, you can get it here now. You could have got it there then, please. Don't kid yourself. Now, maybe not as quickly as we do now, but you don't think we had superliner freaking tankers then? You know, you don't think you had ships that were coming from China then? We didn't let them in. We had tariffs. You know how much it cost to sell anything in this country up until 1994? What do you think NAFTA did? So I'm sitting here as an old school Democrat. Clinton signed it. I flipped my ever-loving lid. Like every freaking old school Democrat. They couldn't believe it. He ran on the platform, he's the next John Kennedy. Oh, I couldn't believe it. You know, granted, he evolved to be a great president. You know, he did a lot of great things. I really like him in a lot of ways, but that's the one thing I really don't like. You know, that's the one blemish I think about it all the time. That's when this madness started. And it was the Republican thing, free marketplace, free marketplace, free marketplace. And the ideal was this. We open up global markets. China has 1.3 billion people. We have 300 million. Okay, we'll be able to sell our goods over there. Well, here's the flaw in all of that philosophy. This has not empowered 1.3 billion people. Not even close. It's empowered the very top. Chinese businessmen. You know, you go to China, it's still 89% live in pure poverty. You get out of Shanghai, whatever, it's still pure poverty. Okay, they're communists still. I finally agree with Donald Trump on something. He's exactly right on this thing. And you do know he's going to run for president. He is going to run. You know that. Okay, so here's the situation. This started in 94. Now we've woke up. Our manufacturing base has been desecrated, taken up. And I really believe this is one of the problems, not just economically, but socially. I honestly believe this is one of the reasons the American population is fat, obese, and out of shape. We were workers. We were a working class society. Factory workers. And millions and millions and millions of people used to get up every day, go to their job, felt good about making things. Hard work. Go, 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 go. Now we've turned into the service-based society where the majority of Americans sit behind a desk. They're not active. You know, so it has, you know, more implications than just economics, but the economic issue is gargantuous. Gargantuous. Look, the average worker in China makes less than $1 a day. So I say lay it out to people like this. I have a subset of questions that I lay out. Okay? Here's how I do it. Question number one. If a company in the United States is employing children from as low as 5 years old, or anybody for that matter, and they're paying him 8 cents an hour, working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, would you support any of their products here in the United States? 100% no. Okay? Would you support a company who's dumping their factory tailings, whether it be from their smokestack or into their drains, directly into our rivers or into our thing? No filters, no cleanup, no government regulation, whatever. Would you support a company who's making stuff like that? 100% no. Okay, would you support a country or a company who's involved with the execution of literally hundreds and hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands of people for very small crimes? Look, it is a fact. China uses mobile execution vans. They are built, they look like what I guess one of our RVs look like. And people think, oh, they just drive around to these different prisons, whatever, and they just execute these people just because. No, 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 there's much more to these vans. Much, much more. They have doctors and surgical systems set up in there. This has become a major, major business for them. The average human, it's sick. It's beyond sick. The average human body, Chinese, when they execute one, they sell in the Western market for over $250,000. Their organs. It's a fact. It's a fact. Okay, so they execute them. They have them in the truck. They have their body parts cut out like that on Learjets to the West. And all you people that wear freaking hair extensions, men and women, you really feel good about that? You know, a lot of those hair extensions come from executed Chinese prisoners. Do you feel good about that? I don't. And I know, I try to buy American, and I know a lot of Americans do, and that's why farmers markets have went crazy in this country. I mean, shit, our farmer market, you would not believe it here. You know, people want to buy American because they don't think about this broader context, but in the smaller context, they think. So they want to buy. I try to buy American. I really do. I really do. This coat, you know, I buy a lot of retro. This was made in New York City. It's old, you know. I lot about looking around my freaking yard, all my old broke down GMs. But the problem is, we don't make anything. It's like this Wheaties hat. Okay, this isn't original. My daughters gave me this, I think, 10 years ago. You think this was made in the U.S.? I know it wasn't. I mean, it's like, okay, GM, Caterpillar, anything. So we have these so-called American companies. What's American about it? Let's take Caterpillar, for instance. Let's take any. You take any Dow component, the Dow 30. Okay, they have an American name. They were founded here in America. All their products are made abroad. Okay, they don't sell. They sell a very small percentage of their products here. The average Fortune 500 company, I believe 73% of their markets are globally. So they don't make anything here. They don't sell anything here. They don't employ anybody here. So you got the very top. And they say, well, they're shareholders. It's a global world. The mass amount of shareholders, I mean, we have 300 million people. There's 7 billion people on Earth. That is who the shareholders. So there's nothing American about it. Absolutely nothing. You go buy a GM, you go buy a freaking Caterpillar, you know, your business, whatever. You think you're supporting. So we're screwed. We can't buy American. Even if we want to buy American. You know, and then Walmart takes the so-called Buy America 10 years ago. Well, now they import everything made in Chinese, absolutely everything. Well, I was at a meeting at Weber State University years ago. This can be verified by many people up there. And the guy who was in line to be CEO was from our town, right here in Ogden, Utah. He's the guy who started Sam's Club, whatever. He spoke. Well, I raised my hand. They called on me. I says, hey, what about the antitrust issues? I believe this was in 99, anyone, maybe 2000. It was when I was helping teach after Dr. Cooley had died. Because Kyle Madsen was sitting right next to me. He was still alive. But anyway, this guy about freaking choked, spit his coffee across. Mike Von Edwards says, oh my God, I can't believe you asked that question. He couldn't answer me. They were in violation then. We do not have antitrust laws. There are reasons. We do not enforce them. There are reasons we have antitrust. Walmart destroyed so many freaking businesses, but people want their cheap goods, and that's exactly what they get. Cheap goods. Well, I want to show you this. When I got back from New York, that nightmare stranded out at JFK, which is another empowerment of corporate America. They just fuck us every way they get. I was involved in an antitrust lawsuit. Okay? Insurance broker antitrust litigation. I got a check in the mail, Bank of America. I have literally paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars when my business used to go good before it was destroyed by the fat-ass hamburger exploiters. Took me apart. I was expecting my share of this check, because I was involved in this heavily. I was expecting I was going to get several $1,000s. Well, here we are. Yeah, so we do have antitrust. There's an antitrust. $4.10. I'll never cash it. I'm going to frame it and put it on the wall. It's a great metaphor. What a great metaphor. Antitrust, insurance litigation, AIG, who us as taxpayers bailed out hundreds of billions of dollars. Now we're getting ready to sell. People actually buy that piece of shit stock. We don't. I mean, traditionally antitrust laws were put in place if you started to take more than about 40, 50, 60%. Walmart's got 80, 90. They have destroyed literally thousands of businesses. And then, so now people want to say, oh God, China's taking, hello, NAFTA, 1994. That's what it did. It put in protection, it destroyed protectionism. Protection was an evil word, remember? So now you want to give us about? Genie's so far out of the freaking bottle, there's no turning back. And now we want to say, okay, well, we can sell our goods over there. What are we going to sell? The only thing we export in this country is troops. Intellectual property. What are we all going to become? Movie makers and entertainers? We all musicians? That's it? And they steal that anyway. They just bootleg it. They don't care. But we as Americans, now we wake up and say, after we've buried ourselves, we don't give a damn about our community. We don't care about our neighbors. We don't care about our own children. We don't care. And everybody wants to say, oh God, this debt and this the currency conversion is going to ruin our children's future. Get off that. It's right here, right now. It has ruined us now. And the currency conversion, we're $1.34 on the euro when it was 80 cents. They float theirs. So classical medicine can't work on twofold. One, our currency becomes so weak. I mean, go to New York City, see how many Europeans are in that city traveling. That saves New York. New York City's saved, the only place that is saved in this country because of tourism, because the currency is so weak. As our currency gets weak, our goods become attractive. Well, number one, we don't make anything. Number two, China cheats it. Number three, even if they didn't cheat it, as Henry Ford said, why are you paying your employees so much? These are the people that got to buy these cars. How does a guy making less than $1 a day in China going to buy anything? They're not. Donald Trump is exactly right on this thing. This is empowered businessmen around the world. This is nothing but redistribution of wealth and philosophy, which the Republican Party has been all about since freaking 30 years of it. That's the way you want it. That's the way you get it. Luke, he was right. That was what, 1967 for on Luke? Some men you just can't reach. And the Americans you could not reach. I've been harping on this since 94. A lot of people have. A lot of people have. But now you want to wake up? Now that your job's gone, destroyed? Think about well, it's too late now. It's too late. It is too late. Kevin Blanch, January 2011.